The Fine Art of Small Talk by Debra. Learn how to start a conversation, keep it going, build networking skills, and leave a positive impression. Whether we're standing in the elevator with a colleague, attending conferences, or simply meeting your child's new teacher, small talk is a major part of our daily lives. Perhaps you spend your days avoiding these awkward situations because the mere idea of striking up a conversation with a stranger makes your stomach churn. Perhaps you will avoid social situations entirely, or hide out in bathrooms and hang out at the buffet table to avoid small talk. Maybe the idea of networking makes you sick to your stomach. If this sounds like you, then it's time to master the fine art of small talk. Though many of us disregard small talk and find it meaningless, small talk has the power to change our lives. Small talk is the foundation of building meaningful connections with friends and colleagues, which can open up opportunities you never thought possible. Once you master small talk, you'll be guaranteed to build a business, make friends, improve networking skills, get dates, and land jobs. So if you struggle with conversation, it's time to learn how to feel more comfortable in any type of social situation. From lunch with your boss, to a networking conference, to a cocktail party where you don't know a single person. As you read, you'll learn how small talk can change your life and receive tips and tricks for starting, keeping, and exiting a conversation. Introduction. As a young girl, author Debra was overweight, shy, and often sat invisible in the back of the class. It was when her third-grade classmate Rita passed out invites to her birthday party that Debra first experienced exclusion. Every girl in her class received an invitation except Debra and another very overweight girl like herself. The experience was incredibly hurtful, so Debra threw herself into a world where her only friends were her books. Consequently, she never learned how to talk to her peers. Naturally, as she got older, Debra chose a career that didn't require much conversation. An engineer. While she could comfortably make technical presentations and answer complex engineering questions, she panicked each time she was required to attend a conference or industry meeting. During those conferences and meetings, she was expected to mingle with colleagues, network, and meet clients. So she started every conversation the same by asking, "What do you do?" Eventually, the conversation came to a grinding halt as Debra struggled to keep it going. She struggled with the art of conversation. It was after having 2 children that Debra realized many of her insecurities came from being overweight. She lost 65 pounds. As her self-image improved, Debra was desperate to have a social life and find friends she could have fun with. To do so, she would need to acquire better social skills. She began to take notes and studied those around her who were successful at cultivating friendships and mingling in crowds. Eventually, she devoted her life to uncovering the fine art of small talk and teaching others how to overcome their insecurities and hesitations. The best part, everyone can learn the techniques, tips, and skills for successful conversations. And when you begin winning at conversations, you'll be surprised at the improvement in your quality of life. You'll begin to bring new people into your network of friends and colleagues, and you'll find joy in social events rather than dread. You'll create pathways and channels for new opportunities that you never thought possible. Are you ready to win at conversations? Great. So enough small talk, let's get down to business. Chapter 1. Become a better conversationalist by taking a risk. How do you feel about small talk? Many people think of small talk as the lowly stepchild of real conversation. They believe it's meaningless and a waste of time. Small talk, however, serves an important function. Without small talk, you can never get to that real conversation. It allows you to break the ice and clear the way for intimate conversation and lays the foundation for a stronger relationship. The good news is that conversation skills can be learned by everyone. When you see others with good conversational skills, how does it make you feel? Perhaps you think they just have a natural ability to mingle happily, that some biological mechanism makes them a natural at small talk. The truth is, most people have to work hard at conversation. Through practice, seminars, personal coaches, and studying books, those people learned the skills and practiced them. Take author Debra, for example, who used to be a geeky, introverted engineer, but simply became a pro at conversation by learning and practicing. It's that simple. After the events of 9/11, a pilot instructed his passengers departing Denver International Airport to introduce themselves and learn about one another. This simple act proves that we have truly lost the art of conversation. But why? We have become accustomed to respecting people's space and privacy, so we avoid getting to know the person sitting right next to us. In fact, the biggest reason we avoid small talk is our fear of rejection. So the first step in becoming a better conversationalist is to take the risk of starting one. You can't simply hope that others will approach you. Instead, it's up to you to make the first move. It's not nearly as hard as you might think, and more importantly, it puts you in charge of your own destiny. You get to choose. Begin your conversation with a smile. When someone smiles at you, you are naturally inclined to smile back, right? So be the first to smile and greet another person. Smile, say a few words, and be sure that you make eye contact. In just a few seconds, you'll have begun to establish a rapport. If the mere thought of smiling and saying hello is daunting for you, there are plenty of ways that you can practice. Practice by walking through the mall and simply saying hello to 10 people as you pass them. You can even do this at the grocery store by greeting 3 other shoppers. Practice until it feels natural for you. In some cases, not introducing yourself can have severe consequences. Debra learned this important lesson when attending corporate events at her friend's company. At these events, Debra admired the senior vice president, Bob, who displayed grace and confidence when it came to mingling and making small talk. Unfortunately, Debra was always too intimidated to introduce herself to Bob and simply kept to herself. When Debra moved into engineering sales, she called on Bob to reintroduce herself and attempt to sell her employer's services. Before she even finished her pitch, however, Bob cut her off, saying, "I can't believe you're calling me. We've been at the same parties a dozen times, and you've ignored me at every one. You're the biggest snob I know. I have no interest in buying anything from you." To her horror, Bob had interpreted Debra's shyness as arrogance, but it's a mistake that can be easily made. So put forth the effort, because silence is certainly not golden.